Welcome back, everyone. So, upon graduating from pilot training in, I guess it was April 1971, I was assigned to C-141's cargo aircraft at McGuire Air Force Base. And first thing we did after graduation, we went up to Fairchild for survival school. Now, that's another story for another time. But this story is going to take place at Altus Air Force Base in Oklahoma when we went through C-141 school. Now, in C-141 school, they paired you with another guy to go through together. In my case, I was paired with a fellow from my class named John Keith. And John and I and our wives had become good friends at that time. So when we got to Altus, we looked for housing, first thing we did, and we decided on renting these efficiency apartments up at Lake Altus, probably about 15 miles from the base. It was a great deal. We could swim, fish, and the people that rented the apartments to us had a boat, and they would let us take the boat out and go water skiing at any time. So that was a super good deal. And at the time, it was only I think $25 a week is what they were charging us. So that was a super good deal. So we get settled in, we get the wives settled in, and then John and I head back down to the base to begin our training. So we go in the squadron building, and we walk in. It's early morning. Walk in, they have a roster up there, and our instructor is a man named Oscar Butcher. Major Oscar Butcher. So John looks at me, and John was from New England. So John looks at me and goes, "Halaka," he says, "I got a feeling this guy's going to be a short little bald guy that smokes a cigar. What do you think?" I let it go. So we walk in, sit down in the training room, the briefing room, and sure enough, in walks this short little major, a little bit overweight maybe, not too bad. And he walks in, takes his hat off, and he's bald-headed. And by the way, he's smoking a cigar. Just cracked us up. But he turned out to be a great instructor for us. He'd been a pilot on C-124s before he came to the C-141. So we would come in, and the way the training was structured, we would do a briefing for 2 hours. We would fly the simulator for 4 hours, and then have a debriefing for 2 hours. That's kind of the way it was, like I said, it was structured. Depending on who started out first, say if John started out in the left seat, he would fly for 2 hours, and then after 2 hours, we'd have a crew change. I'd be in the left seat, and John would be in the right seat. That's kind of the way it worked here. Or Major Butcher would be in the right seat or the left seat, whatever. But the 2 hour briefing kind of went, he would go over what the maneuvers we would be doing, performing that specific day. And then he'd start telling us C-124 stories. Oh my God, he had a ton of them. So we would brief for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and then he would talk about C-124 stories. And he had some beauties. He just had us cracked up. Now, John and I would be looking at each other, what's this got to do with flying C-141s? But they were interesting. And then we go fly, and then we come back, and we debrief for about 45 minutes, and he'd grab a couple beers and tell us about C-124 stories. I think after we graduated, I probably had a good handle on flying the C-124, but it was interesting. And Oscar Butcher was well known through the C-141 community, and just a great IP. And I have a debt of gratitude to him for teaching me the way he did. Teaching John and I, we both enjoyed the experience. So that's what I had to tell you on Oscar Butcher this morning.